Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Voices Randomish. I'm Eldridge Alexander, and as always, I'm here tonight with my sisters. And up in the corner next to me is my sister, and she'll tell you who she is.
D'Artagnan Winters.
And down below is the beautiful lady in the red, and she is
Denise Highsmith.
All right, and tonight we want you to have a sister to speak. It is Black History Month, and there are a couple of things that we really wanted to revisit. Last year, we did a show about missing Black, Indigenous, and people of color. I just wanted to go in and give a real quick update. For those of you who may not know, there is a law that Donald Trump enacted. One of the things that he did, and I believe it's called Ashanti's Law. And I don't know if people are familiar with it. So I was doing some research today, just following up, because in this month, you know, they usually talk, especially since it was Super Bowl. And I don't know, I'll get to the statistics a little bit later, but it was talking about human trafficking. And they were saying that only 25,000 people had tickets for the Super Bowl because of COVID-19. But there were a lot of hotels and a lot of places booked. And they said that they thought that some of them may be related to human trafficking. So I don't know, ladies, what do you think has been going on lately, and what's happening with all of this dating and COVID-19? Because one of the things that in the Black Missing Foundation they talked about is the fact that the people who are involved in trafficking, they're isolated even more now. If you think about it, someone who's involved in a human trafficking ring prior to COVID, if they didn't make a phone call or call a friend or show up for something for a couple of days, someone might have been worried. But now that we're in COVID, how do you think that may have impacted some of the people who are right now victims of human trafficking, you know, that might be related to COVID-19? Because the numbers have gone up. We're still at about 230,000. And of those 230,000, approximately 50% or just a little over 100,000 are women of color. So do you think that there's any connection between, you know, really the pandemic and the possibility that human trafficking could actually go up? That was the question that was out there.
I think the numbers have probably started going up because you see more now that there is COVID and there's more online, there's more women online dating. So they're finding themselves trapped because they're getting drawn in from these men on these dating sites, and they're going to meet them and then they end up being taken. So I think COVID-19 definitely does play a role in that, because everything is drawn to the internet now. Everything that we're doing now is over the phone, over the computer. Everything is virtual. Like even if you got a ticket, you don't even have to go to the courthouse anymore. They give you a number to dial in, and you dial in, and you ain't even got to go to the courthouse. Okay.
Wait a minute, to get married?
No, if you got a ticket. I didn't say to get married.
Oh, I was getting scared there for a minute. I was like, damn, what are we in out at that we don't even need to do anything, you know?
Everything is virtual. So I think that can lead to more women being abducted, because so many women are now doing the online searches. Like, where do you find people now? Online. Like, there's not a lot of people at the bars now, right? Churches are closed. Like, your normal places of going to meet people are closed. So we're meeting people online, and the people that we're meeting online are not authentic. So when you go to meet the people that you thought, you end up being in a whole different situation.
Yeah, because you'll hear about these men putting these profiles on there. These young girls think they're talking to somebody that's their age, and the next thing you know, you caught up somewhere and hemmed up in one of these places. And you know, you got a lot of girls on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere that want to be these instant models. And if I recall correctly, one of the girls that they were talking about, she was from Wisconsin. And that's what really brought me into the story. If you just joined us tonight, we're talking about human trafficking and its connection to, we're talking about the increase in the number of people that were at the Super Bowl, but not necessarily at the Super Bowl, and how there may have been a connection with human trafficking that's going on. And we're just seeing an increase during COVID. Now, we're not saying that there's a connection to anything out there, but what we're saying is that during COVID, there has been possibly an increase because the victims are even more isolated. And that's what we're really talking about here. All right. So go ahead. I mean, they were saying that like there's still about 120, maybe 110,000 women of color, particularly, that are missing and unaccounted for of the 600,000 people that have gone missing in the United States. So if we represent 40% of that, and you figure 6 times 4 is 224, 240,000, and of that percentage, approximately half of that could be Black women of color. And when the unfortunate thing is when we did this show last year, Dar, remember they had lumped Black and Indigenous people in together. So it was hard to really carve out the situations and the numbers that were specific to us as a people, as opposed to the cause or the whole missing foundation in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. Right, but also in the numbers that we had last year, they lumped the Hispanics in with the whites. So they weren't even lumped in with the minorities. They were lumped in with the whites. So the whites numbers looked higher.
And for anybody who want to get these numbers, you can go to the WOC Missing Foundation. I'll share the link inside of the video when I post it out on YouTube. That's where you'll find it on the Voices Randomness channel. For those who have not met our other sister, video when I has joined us. She's from out on the West Coast. So, Mila, thank you for joining us. I'm glad you were able to get in with us tonight. You know the conversation we're talking about. Black, Indigenous people of color that's missing, just quite doing an update on the show we did last year. And we were talking about the fact that there were 25,000 tickets sold for the Super Bowl, but it was almost 5 times that number of people that had traveled to the area for the game. We saw last night on the news afterwards how many people were actually there. So one of the things that I saw this morning was a show here about a young lady who had been trafficked, to another part of the country, and she was reaching out for help, and they were warning young women to be really careful about the dating apps and what was going on, and that's where you came in with the dating apps and stuff. So, Denise, did you have anything you wanted to weigh in? Anything that you had heard about in your area? Because
I'm down in Texas. No, I haven't really heard much, but I agree with D'Artagnan. With us being more in and not going out to date or have gatherings, it's definitely, everything is Zoom, and everything is just on the computer. So that's understandable that it could be possible. Where
from your perspective, have you heard any of the young women that you talked to or in your area, anybody talking about the whole phenomenon of especially the missing young Black women? Because I got some other things that I want to bring up. Go ahead.
Well, I've definitely seen a lot of the times older Black women, or I don't want to say older, but typically speaking, like, 30s and up, seem to be focused more on it. Younger Black women tend to just kind of like be a little bit in denial of it happening. And one of the things that I noticed was that a lot of the human trafficking comes from Instagram now, and it's been like Instagram models are being told they're going to be flown out and things like that, and they're falling for these traps and they don't really know what they're getting into when they get there. And it's like a lot of like, everyone wants to be an influencer, everyone wants to be a model, and they're not realizing that like predators are out there. And a lot of the times, like, a lot of it is happening online. So even though it's COVID, that really doesn't stop the human trafficking from happening. And then, like you said, it's really, they're isolated even more now. So they're really not even, it's even worse to get help now. And one of the things that I think is that people have to be really careful about what they're posting online and who they're attracting and who they're talking to. And one of the things I want to ask earlier, because you guys said the numbers were lumped in with like Indigenous people and stuff like that, but is the human trafficking like is a separate number from how many Black women are missing? Because there's 75,000 Black women missing in the United States right now. Right. So is that like included in it?
In the stats that we got, as a matter of fact, I actually have the stats on my desktop. And as far as the Missing Foundation, I believe I pulled up articles from the Black and Missing Foundation recent article that I have here. And I can just share what I have here on my desktop from the foundation real quick. Let me just hit the share button on the Zoom, and then you'll be able to see what I got. Because it's really interesting, because you're right. we found last year when we did it, we were just like appalled at how the numbers were fudged or skewed. So this is the Black and Missing Foundation. Again, for all of our viewers out there, if you tuned in again, we're revisiting a show we did last year around this time about Black women, the number of Black women missing and the way that we're treated or invisible in the media, how no one really cares. And for the most part, whenever one of us goes missing, it's always something that we're involved in. It's never just something that could have happened to us. For example, it must have been a criminal offense that we were involved in. Or if one of our daughters has something, then she must have started it, right?
Right.
So, you think about last week when we talked about some of the narratives that shape who we are as Black women, about being strong and never having to feel pain. When you think about being a young child in school and having to really go through this, and then being a young woman who has to be subjected to all of the evils of society and no one really asks any questions when you come up missing. That was part of it. So that was what a whole lot of about it. It's like when a Black woman missing, who is trying to find her, right? So that was pretty much the article. And it was like Operation Not Forgotten and Operation Safety Net, two other endeavors that the Black and Missing Foundation was looking at. But these are some of the people that have just gone missing. And I always want to show this is because you don't hear about Joshua Allen or Craig Lyles on TV. And these people have gone missing as of January 25th and January 21st of this year. 2 Black males. And that's one of the things that has actually started to happen, is that we've seen an increase in the number of Black men lately, that even the 2 brothers that were found hanging from a tree down south. So they chalk it up to things like they'll say it was gang violence or retaliation, or they were a runaway, or those types of things, committed suicide. And if you look in, they were talking about the one girl, Unique, and how she's been missing for 10 years and no one really ever even, there was no Amber Alert or anything for this young woman. So it was just one of the things that we just really wanted to talk about tonight, is let's not forget that during COVID, that we do still have brothers and sisters out there who are missing. That is the Ashanti's law apparently was the law that Donald Trump enacted, so that a law to replace that age between 13 and 18, because between the ages of 13 and 18, if a child comes up missing, especially a Black child, there's not going to really be an Amber Alert or anything for that child. There's not going to be, unless they're over 13. There's nothing. So he enacted this particular law to fill that space, so that if someone between the age of 13 and 18 does go missing, there's certain things that parents can actually do in order to have somebody start to look for their children early. So
yeah, we make the perfect targets, and it's sad. It's really sad. And it's so funny that you said that people always try to explain why we're missing and make it the blame, they victim blame a lot. And I had a whole discussion with someone the other day, and I mentioned about how like Black women need to be more modest and start protecting, themselves online. And because it was leading to things like Black women being human trafficked. And so many people in the comments were like, that's not true. Those two things have nothing to do with each other. And I was being attacked, and, I'm still standing on what I said because I know that's true. But they were like, oh, mostly children are being trafficked. It's not Black women. And it's like, we can't even, ever be at the forefront of anything. Like, every time that we experience something, it's being explained away or undermined. And, even in this instance, it's like, oh, well, it's mostly children being human trafficked and has nothing to do with Black women. And it's so these type of like stories and discussions are really important.
So let me give you some ammunition that we used last year to actually show that you know exactly what you're talking about. And the reason why I really wanted you to join us, Neil, is because I think exactly what you said is that I may not be able to connect with younger women because they're going to say, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Dartania may be able to connect with a certain group, and Denise may be able to. We may all have our niche, but that's why it's so important for our younger women who we're trying to protect. Daughters who are not yet even born are the ones that we're actually looking out for, and those who haven't yet gotten a chance to even be teenagers. So this is the information that we pulled. The statistics are not that much different than they were in 2018, except that they've gone up a little bit. That's what's so startling, is that they haven't gone down. So this is a look at the racial disparities. These were the statistics. There were 612,846 people missing in 2018. This is what we were talking about, D'Artagnan, where 59% of how they had lumped in the Hispanics and over here to make the white number go up larger. And the minority, they had 38% minority and 3% unknown. Now, my argument was for the census, white people and Hispanic are separate on the census, so why do you have them lumped in over here, right? To inflate your numbers to make it look like more. 40% of missing persons are persons of color, yet African Americans only 13% of the population. And here's the rest of the information. They classify them as runaways, criminals, and there's a desensitization when it's someone who is a minority, especially when it's a Black woman, okay? Again, going back to what Malcolm said, the most unprotected, the most disrespected person is the Black woman. She still is. It's evidence in these numbers because missing persons reported by genders in all races, 49% female, 51% male, which kind of startled us at first, remember? But then when you look down here, again, how they lump the Hispanics in with the whites to inflate this number, when really, if you look at the way the census is done, you either put the Hispanic, non-white out separately, or you lump them in with another minority. They shouldn't be over here, the white folk. So technically, the number is higher, okay? And then you have your Asian and indigenous population down here. Down here, 175.23 is the total number of missing persons of color under the age of 18. So yes, there are quite a few under the age of 18 that are missing, but if what they did is they lumped in African American, Asian, and Indian, this number is somewhat inflated just a small bit. But if you took 4% of this out, 17 times 4, you take 5,200 people out of here. Okay, if you take out this piece of population. 2018, 230,302 people of color were missing. Of that, 170,000 were under the age of 18, yet missing minority children are grossly underreported in the news. You don't hear about it. So just to wrap this up for everybody out there that's listening again, like last year, what can you do to level the playing field? Go to the diversity newsroom. The website is right out here. And like I said, I'll leave a link to the Black and Missing Foundation in this particular video, and I would encourage you to watch it and be vigilant, you know, be on law enforcement. I know we don't necessarily have a positive relationship with the police, but when it comes to our children, we have to do something. Here's the website for Black and Missing Foundation, information.org. So that's what we had. And so I will make sure that people have that. You're right. So any other sentiments or comments or thoughts on that? I know there was a lot of information to digest.
A lot of information, but a lot of good information. But I think the one thing that we too often do is mind our own business, right? So if we see somebody snatching a child, we think that that's the parent, especially if it's an African-American mother or something, and there's a child and the child is, you know, throwing a temper tantrum or whatever. We'd be like, oh, that ain't my business. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And we turn around and we go our own way. Like, we don't stop to question, is that child really in danger?
Or, like, yeah. You see people at a restaurant and you know the child looks kind of uncomfortable. You don't know if that's really if they are really supposed to be with that person. You know, most of the time we just mind our own business, like you said.
That's what we do.
Didn't we just hear about the incident where the child was in the restaurant and they were looking kind of scared, and the waitress apparently called protective services, and they found out that the stepfather had literally been beating the crap out of this kid? Always missing kids is sometimes we just don't talk, we don't say anything because that's our culture. So some of this, we're enabling some of this, and you're right. The jokes and things that we make about, you know, seeing women in the grocery store, parents in the grocery store beating a kid, and we don't even know, or seeing them snatching them up, throwing them in the car. We don't even know if they belong to them. But yeah, we like, oh yeah, they was probably bad in the store to getting what they supposed to get. That's how we do. So yeah, you need that whooping. You probably was clowning in the store.
Here's where snatching.
You know that's how we do. We're not ready to get you. If we got weave, somehow weave, so you could beat it too. I mean, I just said it, but literally, I think that a lot of things that we cope with it because we've been conditioned through humor to deal with our trauma in ways that normally people would not deal with it. And some of it for me, I think it's just trauma, everything going. I don't know. What's your opinion? I mean,
yeah, and it's also, I think, like, distrust in the police. Like you said, you know, we've been trained, and obviously through trauma and experience, that, you know, we can't trust the police. So the first thing we're not going to do is, you know, think like, let's just get the police involved. Also, one of the things in our community that is unfortunate, but we don't have a lot of hope in situations. We tend to always think, oh, well, nothing's going to be done about it, or this problem is too big. You know, we don't ever think that we can actually make a change. So we just don't even feel the need to get involved.
Yeah. So how do we change because what you're talking about is apathy, the DCA, the don't care attitude. That's called apathy. So what do we do? What do we want to tell our viewers out there about how we can cure cultural apathy? Because that's it.
We need to get involved. Yeah, just like the old back in our generations ago, where it takes a village. Like, you need to be in your family and neighbors' business, so to speak. You know.
Do anybody ever worry about violence being perpetuated against them because of the fact that because I think that that's the number one thing is, you know, people walking around and you can see their guns. That's the difference. When I grew up, you know, you could be on 2-1 Street and didn't nobody have a gun. Now you can't get out the door without everybody packing like it's the Wild Wild West. Right. So that's a contributor, you know, to the fact that mania is the number one rule in our community. Mania, right. Nanya. Go mania, nanya, go ya. Mind your business, none your business, go your way.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's sad. Because I only started thinking about it that way because I was thinking about the show Everybody Hates Chris. And like Chris's daddy, and I remember that whole family setup where the father, Chris's daddy was there, and it was always like, you just saw something different with the way that we could be as people. Because if you think about it, they had that duplex and the downstairs and the upstairs, and like you were saying, the girl next door, Tanya, and everybody knew everybody's business. You know, if something happened to Chris in that one school that he went to way across town, before he could even walk back home and get off the bus, everybody in the neighborhood was kidding him about it. We don't even have that anymore. It's all gone.
Yeah.
So is it as simple as just not care, just starting to care, or what do we do?
Pay attention. Yeah. And trust your gut. If your gut is telling you something is off, trust your gut. Your gut is usually right. Just trust what your instincts are telling you.
Yeah.
That was a question on Family Feud yesterday. It was like, what percentage of the time can you trust your gut?
100.
And I believe that
all the time.
The top all the time. Like 100% and like 99% of the time.
Yep.
So I believe that's what we're saying. So everybody, to wrap up this conversation tonight, we still have about 120,000 missing women of color. I'm not talking about those other groups, and I'm not talking about other genders or other identifiers. I'm talking about women who identify as women, who identify as Black women, whether they're a part of the diaspora, meaning they could be of African descent, they could be of Haitian, whatever, but they identify as being a Black woman. We still have about 120,000 missing. The number is going up. Like my sister said on the show, if you see something, trust your gut, your intuition. Even with kids, if you see that child is struggling and you look at that kid and it look like they don't belong there, trust your gut, make that call. Don't be your Nunya, Goya, Mania person. Don't be that person. It might be your grandchild or your child, or it might even be you. So think about that. All right, everybody. The next topic for tonight. Okay. So y'all know, like I watch a lot of pop culture TV because I like doing these discussions. And this one is about Real Housewives of Atlanta. What is it? Not Real Housewives of Atlanta, but Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Carly Red. Okay. I'm naming her name tonight because the article is public. She apparently had like a fight with a friend, right? And now that a physical fight with a friend girl. Like there was a friend girl, right? A sister friend, a disagreement over something, and she decided to put hands on Carly. Now she regrets, since she's gone through anger management and all this stuff, she regrets taking those steps. Could you ever come back? That's my question. From a situation where somebody put hands on you and expect y'all to be friends?
Absolutely not.
Miller was like, no.
I say that no. Absolutely not. No. I feel like as a friend, there's a level of respect no matter how angry you get that just does not ever be crossed. And I feel like if you put your hands on me, you broke that level of respect and there's no coming back from that. I don't have to wish you bad, but you got to get on. I'm so sorry. That's not no.
Hey, Denise, what you think? Can y'all ever come back from that? You came to blows. Can you come back to friendship?
I don't know how close of a friendship. I feel like it just depends on the situation, and it just depends on the length of the friendship. You know, I don't know if it will ever be the same. I don't think, I mean, like, it's probably just going to be cordial. Like, if you see them out, I don't think so.
I ain't doing that. You can get your ass all the way to the left. You can't even speak.
You said it's a bad relationship. It's over.
I don't think I would be able to do that. You actually put your hands on me to the fact that we were throwing bowls. Like, you could cuss me out and tell me I'm wrong. I can deal with that. You can do all kinds of things, but when it comes to the point where you want to put your hands on me, that takes it to a whole nother hell. Mm-mm.
That's true.
Nope.
That's true.
No. Now you cuss me out, I'll be fine. Don't put your hands on me.
And you don't even know, like, next time, you know, will you put your hands on me again? So it's just over. Like, the trust is broken. It's over.
Right. What you said, the trust. You're no longer comfortable around that person. Like,
exactly.
And that's
what do you say, El?
Go ahead, Denise.
What do you say, El?
No, that's what Carly said. I said the same thing too. I listen. If you put your hands on me, I might have a knee-jerk reaction, and there may not be a later conversation. I'm just gonna be real with you, because I grew up on you big enough to pass a lick, you big enough to take one, and sort of depending on where you hit me. Y'all notice I don't have nothing wrong with my face. Ain't nothing wrong with this face, because you don't get that close. See, I'm like D'Artagnan. I would have been looking at her body language and looking in her eyes and watching, because like a person got to move into a certain degree to come, and they got a certain stance that they take when they're getting ready to come at you, and it's called, you come arm's length. Be like when you see somebody going from 0 to 5 in less than 2 seconds, I don't wait for them to get to 10. I'm not gonna wait for you to get to 10. I ain't wear a weave. You ain't got to worry about snatching mine. We ain't got to worry about it, because you got to get real close to this one. You got to get up on this. You ain't none of this reaching out. That's why I love my short hair. See, all that weave go get some people killed, because they can snatch you and snatch your head off. You got to come up on this one right here. And when you come in my distance, then you have violated my personal space. I can't say, D'Artagnan, I think you might have to get your bail money, and I have to like Zelle you, because I saw the most horrific video where I saw this white lady spitting on that sister, spitting on her.
Like, oh, that's the one.
Did you say it?
Yes. And everyone in the comments are like, oh yeah, you be in jail because you're black. Well, I'm gonna have to be in jail. I'm sorry, because no, ma'am, you're not gonna spit.
You talking about laying hands, but this was a spit on somebody. I mean, draw back deep down in your gut, hawk it up and bring it, and wait till I could get to the side of your face, aim, throw it at you, jackpot bullseye, I got you, and then say, nah. That's the thing that happened. And the woman stood there and she wiped her face off and took, I swear, y'all, some things have boundaries. That's what we was talking about this earlier, D'Artagnan. We was talking about it's boundaries.
Boundaries. Yeah, and respect, yeah.
Because you ain't shocked. But I could send you the video. I just said, this is just sad.
Yep.
This is a whole new time.
Jail. They would put me under the jail. They not even gonna book me. They gonna put me under the jail.
When I saw it, I was like, Lord Jesus, help me, because I want to come through the phone.
Right, you want to hit her for the girl, because it's just like, how could you just sit there and wipe it off and just stand like?
That's the stuff that the damn strong woman narrative is getting our asses spit on, getting us slapped in the face, getting us snatched and kidnapped and never showing up again because we strong and we can take everything. I'm sick of that. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm Fannie Lou Hamer all day long because it's only certain boundaries that you should take. And so to me, that's an extension of the Black woman being strong narrative. I gotta be that strong. I gotta let you dog me out any old kind of way, spit on me, right? Come on, y'all.
Maybe another part of that is maybe she didn't want to react because she would be seen as the angry Black woman and didn't want to, be seen as the bully in a situation, or, have fear of that.
Live up to that narrative on that one, y'all.
Me too. Oh, me too. Trust me. But I'm just saying, maybe that's another negative effect.
I'm sorry.
I can't see how you could take that type of disrespect. I just don't. I don't see it.
Spit on this woman, and she drew back like 4 different generations to get that spit to come on. I'm not lying, y'all.
Oh my God.
I was, oh Lord Jesus, I'm gonna share that video. I was in shock when I saw it. And you're right, Mila. The comments were really just like, oh, she's old. Oh, she's from another generation. She must really be like, really? Really?
Have we become this docile? This, just passive? And it's honestly, people can say it's a small situation, but it's really more of like a, microism of macroism. Like that just is not something you should ever accept. And no matter and I feel like a lot of Black people don't feel like they can react to white people still because they fear, police coming and being harmed or something like that. But I just feel like no matter what, you stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
In that moment, I wonder if that's what it was, because D'Artagnan, remember when we was talking earlier and we said that certain things, I'm spitting on someone to me is the vilest,
the lowest.
It is the most disrespectful you can be.
And it don't matter who it come from. It's the act in and of itself.
Yeah.
Does not.
You know what's even worse is how do you grow up in a society that has taught you that it's okay to hate people to that degree, that you act like that. That's the thing that gets me that's even more scary. Is that
that's what
you know what I mean, Denise? Is that the conditions for this woman were shaped to feel like it's okay for her to do that. She has a right to do it. And she didn't do it once, twice, 3 times a lady. She did it like 4 or 5 times in the video. I'm not. I shit you not. That's why I said the whole Black woman strong narrative.
What have we come to?
This ridiculous. Because I'm not strong like that. I pride myself on being a pretty resilient, brave, courageous kind of woman. But I'm going to tell y'all, you spit on me and all bets is going to be off. Off. You heard what I said, off.
That's as worse as you can get.
Yes. You might as well put me down on the ground and just take your foot and just swish all over my face. Because don't get no ideas out there, people. We're not taking it either.
No, we're not taking any of that. I just can't believe she sat there, People are saying she has
you saw it, right?
High level of patience. I'm like, it looks like stupidity to me because there's just no way. There's just no way. Never.
At first I had to look and see, is there a trick camera somewhere? I ain't gonna come out like this is like candid camera.
Camera, right.
You let her spit on you 5 times and we gonna give you $1 million for each spit. I was waiting for it.
Yeah, like why was it even being recorded? I thought that. I was like,
what was my question?
Yeah.
This isn't the one where the lady had dementia, is it?
I don't know. She had dementia.
There was one where there was a
Don't
black
matter.
lady, and then there was a white woman. The white woman had dementia, and she was recording it so that she had proof.
Yeah, that's what she had. That was the video, and that's exactly why.
Okay.
Yeah, that was.
Resilience and courage.
So that's different. That's different. That takes you to a different space. But she had. If it's the same video, I don't know if it's the same video that you're talking about, but she was recording the video for proof.
Right.
That this is what this woman was doing.
It's exactly the same video, but what I'm saying to you, even in the line of duty, you like there's certain reflexes that you have. Like I'm saying, if you slap me, you gonna get it. I'm probably coming at you and not even because it's like did you just okay?
It's just a reaction. It's automatic reaction.
Right. And you know what? And that's the time for me that like if you're worried about your job, I'm quitting.
Okay.
There's no way. There's no way you're going to keep spitting on me. I'm going to keep coming back to this job. And I don't need to record anything. I would have kept the camera on for proof that you spit on me first. But I would probably have to still have knocked you out. Like, there's just no way that I can allow that. And it's just like, it's sad to see that people will even for a job take that. You don't take it for a job. You don't take it for any reason.
Well,
that's just ridiculous.
The hard cold fact is they have you over a barrel because 70% of Black households are headed by Black women. You think about that burden. You think about being in a situation where you're the only person that's bringing in money and you got the health insurance, and now we in this crisis that we in. It's all those things that I think that probably play as tapes in somebody's head when they, you probably in slow motion, but I'm right there. I don't think that those are the tapes that would have went off in my head. About Johnny and Susie ain't gonna eat tonight.
Right, something.
Because it's certain things that I just can't do it. I don't know about the rest of people. You call me a coward, whatever you want, but you spit on me or hit me in my face and it's on and popping. And she did double duty because she spit in the woman's face.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you. I can't.
I thought it was me because I was like, and what you were saying, D'Artagnan, I get it. I would understand the context in which it happened. If she has been working for the person and she filmed this video because she needed to film it to show somebody because she was going through abuse on the job and that, I get it. But my only problem is that then under HIPAA, that probably shouldn't have been for public consumption. Because you're talking about someone's medical diagnosis. You got the person on camera whose medical diagnosis is, to me, it's a violation of the Health Insurance Privacy and Protection Act of America, right? HIPAA. I mean, I'm just saying, you putting that business out there, they did not sign an author. It's all kind of stuff that when I was at the university and we were talking about e-commerce, stuff like this is stuff we were writing about back in the early 90s, how science lines would be blurred, how laws around transmission of drugs and traffic, legal drugs, I'm talking about, how all of this stuff is going to be blurred. And if you think about it now, we're seeing evidence of somebody's when and where and what's the context when you can disclose medical information about somebody without their consent. Because that's what I saw out of this. It was like, her information is on blast. Everybody out there know you crazy. Or that you
they should. They should know you crazy.
They should know.
And be prepared to throat chop your ass had you look like you want to spit. Be ready to throat chop your ass.
She's a spitter. I mean, the way that we could deal with sometimes in life, people, is through humor. It's not funny. It's not, it is funny right now in the context in which we're talking about it. But I don't encourage anybody to sit there and let anybody lay hands on them and to let somebody spit on you. Yes, there are legal avenues, because I tell you, I've learned in my maturity that if you put your hands on me, I got recourse. Even for a man that does something to you really bad. We saw the movie Enough. You can take it even further. I ain't gonna even say nothing. But there's all
and Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Girl,
Threw in that tub.
Don't play. But what I want to say to people is that there is a better way to deal with conflict when you don't necessarily agree with something that a friend says or a family member, or even if you're working with someone and their behavior isn't what you expected. There are other ways that we can deal with things rather than spitting on somebody or hitting them. Because we had one instance where someone dealt with something they didn't like by hitting on the other person, and then we saw another instance where someone was spitting on someone. It was a medical situation, but inside that person's brain, you could see that there was something else behind it because of the way that she did it, with the viciousness of the way she did it. You can use that dementia as an excuse, but people have been, they go in and out of it. You know, they go in and out. There was a movie, The Notebook. Remember The Notebook? Anybody see The Notebook?
Yes.
Yes.
I finally got up the courage to watch the movie. I'll probably watch it. It made me cry, but I totally, it totally makes sense. Dementia and Alzheimer's, it goes in and out, in and out. So there were days of consciousness or moments of consciousness where that person knew exactly what they were doing. And that's the part you're gonna be slapping back is the part that was conscious and knew what it was doing.
Right. And well, one time out of those 4 times, you might have been conscious. So no, ma'am.
Episode 5 is something's wrong with this movie series here. You spit on me right. Third, 4th time. We at number 5. Come on. Something wrong.
You ain't getting the number 2.
No, that's what I said.
Right.
I mean, I know President Bush messed it up, but shame on me if I let you get away with it. With the first time is shame on you, right? But the second time is shame on me.
Yeah.
Shame on everybody else in the block for 3, 4, 5, and 6. That made me up. Anyway, y'all, we got to get ready to wrap up. I got one last thing that we talking about. We talked about the friendship and a friend who disrespects you, and we talked about the mental woman update. The last one, we started talking about dating and COVID-19. I saw this video come up. It was on Tanya TKO. Shout out to Tanya TKO out there on Tanya TKO TV. She had this video where I'd seen it earlier in the year where apparently the lady is married to a man. He's like 65. He was in the hospital, contracted COVID-19, and she was on a dating app, getting her prepared for in case she needs a stepfather. So is that what we doing now, y'all? We getting backups and prepping till death do us part.
She said she one in the chamber. What?
She said to keep one in the chamber. That's what she said. I heard. I was rolling. I was like, damn.
I'm confused.
Hey.
There is no way my husband is going to be on life support and he's fighting for his life and I'm out here trying to replace him and he ain't there yet. Ain't no way. There ain't no
That's
possible way
terrible.
Until the man died.
Terrible.
So he should have a full recovery and divorce her ass in the fucking process and take every damn thing, including the kids.
She's stupid because he got video evidence that he could play in a court of law. What's wrong with people making videos and stuff to like, you know, prosecute themselves? They basically, the prosecution don't have
terrible. She is.
I couldn't believe it. She on the dating app getting her, she gonna end up one of them people on the side of the road you keep on, because you know no good deed. Those ain't even good deeds. She gonna end up.
She said, well, did you hear her say when the host asked her, how old is he? Well, so I said, okay, he's plenty older than her. But I thought she was younger. She said she was 31 or 32 and the guy is 65. But still, I thought she acted like she about 20. I was thinking she was a little young girl that, only with him for his money to move on faster than, but that's terrible.
I still think him.
You're different, so she'll check chaser. I mean, go ahead, Mila. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was agreeing with you. I was like, I still think she was with that man for his money. I mean,
definitely.
Get him. You don't love him at all. That's not someone loves somebody.
You stand outside the bedroom of the man going, waiting to see if it's going beep, 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 or beep,
She just gave his family grounds to fight anything that she had coming in inheritance.
Yep, that's true. They might take the baby and
if you're about the money, think money wise. That's not a smart decision to make.
She's stupid.
I just think it's even stupider that people make videos. It's kind of like making a video saying, listen, everybody, I'm going to do a hit on my husband.
Well, think about it. People just want to be famous nowadays for any reason. They don't care.
Instagram famous, yeah.
I've seen the stupidest, and this past week I've seen the craziest things. I've seen the Gorilla Glue girl who put glue on her head, and now she has all these millions of followers. She has thousands of people giving her money. I mean, she has so much doing something crazy, you know. And little Uzi putting that diamond in his forehead.
Did you know she's gotten donations of like
$87 so far? No,
yes,
10,000 now.
10,000, something like that, y'all.
Over 10,000.
Y'all, between that and Lil Uzi Vert with the diamond in his head, I was like, are we just stupid and calling it? What is going? I feel for this sister because that shit is plastered on. She ain't gonna get that off. They're gonna have to
shave your damn head.
You know they follicles are dead. The hair probably. I feel for her, but they're gonna have to put her under general anesthesia and literally do a graft. You know how you do the graft where you take off
skin graft? Yeah.
Like my brother had that when he had his burn. They took it from his leg and put it on his ear. That's literally how they're gonna have to do her. Is put her under general anesthesia and literally scalp her.
Did you know they said?
That's it.
Did you know they said that every time she washed her hair, the water solidified the glue bonds?
Even more.
Oh no.
If she washed her hair 6 times.
I didn't mean to laugh, y'all. Every time she washed her hair, it solidified the glue.
We was more. Like, y'all gonna get enough of them damn weaves.
Let the hair grow out.
Like, she literally was just trying to slick it down to the point where, you know, she wanted
to be
jail? She didn't even think of looking up what you put on your head, on your body before you use it. That's what made me mad. Because before I get a product, I'm researching reviews. I'm looking up the ingredients 4 or 5 times. You done any of that?
What happened to good old gel? Like, I don't care what brand. What happened to good old gel to slick it down, or the sticky, you know, the stuff that make the pomade that just is sticky, something.
Pro gel, or even get you some hair rep grease. They're not some lard.
Slick look nowadays, like the edges on fleek. So, you know, she was trying, and you know, that's what happened. She ended up in the hospital. Now she's all this attention.
Right.
It's crazy.
Get to leave it. This is what you get. Got it good.
And then we're gonna see a special on her 30 years later, like what happened to the Gorilla Glue girl, and she could be sitting there with 2 hair follicles.
Yo, with the next to the Octomom 60 years and Gorilla Girl next. and look, followed by Lil Uzi Vert and his diamond in the middle of his 23 kids.
Oh, see, Lil Uzi, somebody gonna snatch that diamond out his forehead. He gonna be sitting there looking like Vision.
What you mean, snatch it out of his head?
Snatch that shit out of his forehead.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? It could kill him?
He's gonna get his head chopped off. He's gonna get his head chopped off for that diamond. Somebody's gonna.
They gonna snatch that motherfucker out of his forehead.
They gonna make.
What makes me mad about it is the fact that it's like, do they just sit around and think like, what is the biggest waste of money I can do? Like, I heard it was like $24 million.
$24 million.
Really? To put a diamond in your forehead? For what?
Daddy been saving for a long time just to do this.
Why? That's so special, Ed.
More life. If you've been saving $24 million.
So if he goes, my thing is, but he's got a policy. If he goes bankrupt, he can go have it removed and sell the diamond, right?
I don't even know how that.
We might need to check in and see if he thought to do that. Make sure your ass is insured for like $50 million, because you got a $24 million diamond on your head. Your ass is worth at least 3 times that much now, and people will kill you for $24 in a joint.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
What else? What else? At 24 and a what?
And a joint.
At $24 in a joint. They'll give you for that. You put a 24, you're a walking poster for come get me now.
Right? It's foolish.
So when I was putting this stuff in the chat for y'all, it was like I was up at like 2:30 in the morning. I couldn't sleep. And the stuff was popping in my phone. I was like, what the hell? Who does that? And like you said, Mila, you said, somebody said, what? Let me see. I got $24 million in the bank. What can I just?
And I'll do to waste it.
I know what.
And he said he wanted to do something iconic.
No, he just wanted to do something
because that
right.
That ain't what I thought the word iconic meant. I mean, there was
no, that's not what iconic means. It's not. And you know what? Another thing is, like, this is just off the subject, but like a lot of Black people, rich Black celebrities, they go give their money to these jewelers and they be getting the most ridiculous, like, you know, jewelry I've ever seen. They'll get like Kodak Black got his like diamond face mask. And it's just like, really? Like, apparently it was like a really expensive face mask. Or they'll get like these crazy expensive jewelry that's just like, why?
Oh, but
you're over here wasting money.
Oh, but I gotta bring up one other thing. The T.I. Tiny thing that's going on. Have anybody heard about that? They've been trafficking and drugging people and all kind of stuff.
What?
Oh my God. Yes! Mm-hmm. Where you been, girl? Yes. Yes.
And Lisa Bloom is on the case, of course.
Who's on the
Lisa Bloom. Miss Never Win a Case.
Even if it ain't been corrupt for like the social justice or Lisa Bloom for her sexual harassment, you already know who's gonna be on these cases. But yes, they have this girl Sabrina came out and accused them and said that Tiny is the person that go get the girls and lure them in, and T.I. pistol whipped some girls. It was all kind of drugs. It was all it's all out there public on Mag G TV. I don't know if you told, I'm subscribed to Mag G. I don't know how the hell I got on Mag G, but that's where all the stars come like and talk about what's happening. She kind of came on and talked about, said she ain't never knew her in no way like that, and all this shit about that. That's not nothing, and don't attach her name with that because that's not how she knew Tiny. But it's all about them, you know. Supposedly they like the stuff from Eyes Wide Shut from the. I don't know if you ever saw the movie with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, where they were these rich people going to these clubs behind the scenes, and they do these elite club things with orgies and stuff.
So here's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that these things don't happen, and if they do happen, then it's terrible, and you know, these victims deserve justice. But why is it every time that someone tends to start getting more pro-Black, more publicly Black and supporting Black issues, do all of a sudden they get hit with all these cases, sexual accusations, you know, at that exact moment correlating to that time period? It's never before. It's never they're making, you know, when they're quiet and they're just entertaining and tap dancing and, you know, jucking and jiving. But when they come out and speak for Black issues, all of a sudden, then they're attacked with these things.
You're right. That was the thing that I said too. I don't know that if you guys have noticed that T.I. was a very strong activist when he was talking against the Candace Owens about her not being a real Black person. And T.I. had him and Killer Mike. So you're absolutely right. There is a correlation between them going after Black Lives Matter activists and this whole thing about them supposedly being sexual traffickers. So you think about how this looped all the way back around to everything we talked about. We talked about the dangers of dating during COVID and not knowing who you're getting on the app. We talked about the missing women, that you still got 120,000 women of color that's missing. And we talked about how we need to act around people, you know, when we have certain interactions with stuff. And now we're talking about how this all comes together, and maybe there is a connection, all different types of aspects that come at the Black race and really destroy us medically, right? And then to attack our political ambassadors, because that's what T.I. has been. The difference between T.I. and what happened with Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne was not an ambassador for the Black community, right? He got a pardon from Trump. I want you to think about this. T.I. has been an ambassador for the Black community from the start of this, and now he's being attacked and called the worst of the worst, a human trafficker. Because you could put certain buzzwords out into the communication now, into the stratosphere. And D'Artagnan, you brought this up a while back, and you were talking about the pedophiles and stuff, and how it was more and more people that were being caught when Jeffrey Weinstein. But you think about all the women and the human trafficking, and until it got to a certain level of people in the country that were being impacted, no one gave a damn. You think about all these Black women that are going missing, and now all of a sudden they show a picture of Jeffrey Epstein on an island with some other big star. The prince, it was the prince over in England, one of them prince that was on the boat, and now everybody is on it because it's a different level of people that supposedly are impacted by the human trafficking. That's what I really wanted us to see as we got into this conversation. So you got apps out there that help people to be promoting human trafficking. You got numbers out there that show you that nothing is being done, right? You finally get this Ashanti's alert. And then you got us even help to participate in this, and then us being called on the carpet for that. So what are your final thoughts about what's going on with us and how we seem to be being attacked from all sides? Because that's what I got out of this. It feels like we're getting attacked from every which way. Black women are expected to be super resilient. If our men are standing up
again,
get attacked and they're going to jail. You know, and then when we get in interactions with one another, we're so upset and so stressed out, we don't even know how to interact with one another except for hitting each other.
Yeah.
What is happening to us?
Well, you know, the biggest issue, because like you said, we have so many problems from so many different sides, from so many different areas. And, you know, the thing that allows this is the lack of our unity. You know, Black people let the smallest issues between each other divide us. And our division is the reason why we're so low and why we, you know, all these things happen and we're not able to come together as, you know, a community when it ties to everything. It ties to the human trafficking, the Black women going missing, the, you know, sexual accusations, everything we talked about, because it's like we are not united and we're not coming together and making our voice strong, standing with each other, you know, saying, no, these girls are going missing, what's happening? You know, we're kind of just so divided and so disencouraged because we just don't think that we can make a change. And one of the things that I always say is like, you know what? Be the change you want to see. Everyone always asks, yes, where's this Black leader? Where's that Black leader? Yes. I always tell people, I'm like, you be a leader. You do it. You speak up. You fight for everything that you believe in. And that's one of the biggest issues I think that we also face is the fact that we just are so individualist and we just need to focus on our unity and not letting all these things divide us and not letting all these outside factors come and tear the leaders we do have down. So
yeah.
Because when we do that, then we go home and we glue our hair down. All right, everybody, we're going to wrap up our session tonight, but you can see that this is Voices Randomish. I'm here tonight with my sisters as always, and we talked about the need for you to go out and make sure that you're paying attention to your young women when they're on the internet, your young sons. Anytime that your kids are on the internet, especially since kids are at home more now and doing homeschooling, pay attention to what they're looking at. Pay attention to who they're talking to, okay? If it don't seem right, it probably isn't right. Like D'Artagnan said, trust your gut. Parents, you're right 100% of the time. Remember that violence is not the way to go. If you disagree with somebody, it's not necessarily for you to put your hands on them at all because there's no coming back from that. And if you are going to date during COVID-19, make sure that you are very careful in doing it. You know, not only can you catch COVID, because we know some people that has happened to, where people weren't necessarily forthcoming and they with other people and that person ended up with COVID. But you need to know who you're dealing with these days. And, you know, if you are with somebody that may get sick, have some compassion because the situation could be reversed and maybe that person get well and then there's a new variant coming, y'all. It's supposed to be more stronger than the other one. You might escape this one and then you didn't help that other person. Well, guess what? The chances go round. You meet the same people coming up that you do coming down. So think about that. Make sure you have a really good week and see us next week. And we're going to talk about the structures that are in place and behaviors that keep Black people from uniting. Think about that. What are some of the structures that we have that are in place and the behaviors that we have as Black people that keep us from uniting, whether it's in a relationship of any kind. On that note, you know, we always ask you this question every week. We tell you to have a sip in the seat, and we tell you to do what, Denise? What should they be doing when they come to our channel on Voices Randomish?
Subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and like.
Right. D'Artagnan, what do you want to happen when they come to Voices Randomish channel?
They need to share. I'm gonna need y'all to get out there. Share this with y'all friends. Bring y'all friends in. Tell y'all friend to tell a friend, so we can be friends.
Leela, what do you want to say to the people, our newest member of the team? We're so glad that you joined us each week. What do you want to tell the youngins out there? What do they need to do each week?
Oh yeah, they definitely need to share, tag it, you know, comment on the post, add their friends, you know, go and I definitely want them to go and research the topics that we're talking about, because staying educated on these things are so important. And, you know, everyone wants to be TikTok famous and clout chase and, you know, do these challenges, but, you know, really staying educated and aware of what's going on is so important.
And that's the purpose of this channel, is because we engage, enlighten, inspire, and uplift you. That's what it's all about. And we want you to tune in next week. We know this video might have been a little bit longer this weekend, but hey, this is where you get information about things that matter to you, okay? And that's why we really want you to tune in. So join us next week again, where I'm going to repeat what I said. We're going to talk about the structures in place and the behaviors of Black people that actually keep us from being united. And on that note, I'm going to ask you, what's
your
frequency?
We'll see you next week, everybody. Good night.
Night.
Night.